My name is Carolyn, and I talk to the spirit world. Travel with me to a dimension filled with love, light, and joyful surprises. Welcome to Carolyn's Psychic Playroom. Hi everybody, I'm Carolyn Wilkins, and I'm love to welcome you to my Psychic Playroom today. We're going to have an awesome show. I have a wonderful guest lined up. She's a shaman, she's a psychic, she's full of all kinds of fascinating information about combining different kinds of spiritual disciplines, and I know you're going to love her. Before we get started with the interview, I'll just take a moment to greet you properly. I hope you've had a great month. I myself have been super busy doing workshops and training. You know, maybe you may not realize this, but we psychics and mediums, in order to really stay on top of our game, we always have to keep learning and growing and learning new things. So this week I went away, I took a 5-day workshop with a brilliant psychic from England, and I learned just a ton of stuff that I cannot wait to share with you, and that hopefully will be reflected in my readings today. So one other piece of business before we get started with the interview. Upcoming next week, believe it or not, is the summer solstice, the 22nd of June, first official day of summer. Here in Boston, I don't know about where you are, but here in Boston, it is gloomy, it is cold, it is raining, and it's about 50 degrees or something, utterly miserable. Hopefully, by the time the summer solstice rolls around, things are going to lighten a little bit. This is an excellent time energetically for you to harness the sun is at its peak right now. This is the peak. This is the longest day of the year. There's a ton of energy out there for you to use, and it's a great opportunity to harness this energy in your own inner work. If you have something that you are hoping to bring into reality, perhaps a dream you've been working on, something you want to manifest, a project, a situation, a relationship, going out in the sun and making just an offering to the sun, first of all, to thank the sun for being there, thank us for our connection to the sun, without which we would not exist, and then also to ask for this energy and this power of the sun energy to come through you and work with you and bring light to your endeavors, whatever they may be. So that's my little tip for you about the sun situation. I'm now going to try to hopefully call up the interview for you. I want to put this lady on. I know you are just going to love her. Her name is Mary Wolk-Agnew, and I had the privilege of meeting with her when we were taking a class together, which in fact we're still taking, with the wonderful British medium Mavis Patilla. So now that I've actually pulled up her interview, take a moment and check out this interview with Mary Wolk-Agnew, psychic, medium, and shaman. You're gonna love it. Hi everybody, this is Carolyn Wilkins, as you well know, and I have a very special guest with me in the Psychic Playroom today, and that is the very lovely Mary Agnew. And Mary is both my classmate in mediumship studies, but she's also a shaman. And I thought it would be a very interesting topic to discuss. What is shamanism? How does it work? How does it relate to mediumship? What are the similarities? What are the differences? And yeah, um, so Mary, welcome. Thanks for coming.
Oh, thanks so much for having me, Carolyn. It's great to see you again.
Oh, lovely. So, my dear, um, normally when I think of a shaman, I'm thinking of like a Native American person or something, or maybe an Eskimo or something with a rattle and stuff like that. Um, how did you get into this field? And maybe you can help us define it and understand it a little bit better.
Sure. Well, I actually began my mediumships, I'm sorry, my shamanic studies probably about 17 years ago, thinking I was taking a one weekend course in Native American shamanism. I mean, I just signed up for it and show up, and it's not Native American at all. What I was studying was Peruvian shamanism because there are shamans in every indigenous culture in the world. In fact, the word shaman comes from Siberia. And, there are Japanese shamans, there are Indian, there are Peruvian. It's the medicine people who held their communities and held their communities not just in helping to for the health of the physical health of the community, but also just held them. They go out and they do prayers for the crops to grow. If there's disharmony in the community, they work at dispelling that disharmony. And it just really, I have to tell you, Carolyn, it spoke to me so much that 17 years later, I am still totally in love with shamanism, continuing my studies. And you referred to me as a shaman. I refer to myself as a shamanic practitioner because I will always be practicing and always learning versus the true shamans. Like I studied with the Caro nation of the high Andes of Peru, who are considered to be the direct descendants of the Inca. And those people are shamans. They live it 24/7, and they have a depth of knowledge that I can only continue to strive towards. But a true shaman, I mean, they just so in touch with the earth. And it's not a religion, it's a way of life. I have, when I teach shamanism, I have had Taoist priests in there, I have had Catholic deacons, and it doesn't matter what your religious belief is, this is a way of life and it's a spiritual experience. So,
Wow. That's really interesting. I appreciate your clarifying that, and it makes a lot of sense to me. So I'm now going to move kind of into the next, it leads right into my next question. You do the shamanism, which I do understand now is a kind of a practice, and even though maybe you don't live in a rural area, or you're not necessarily interested in making crops grow, there are things that just urban people, for example, me here in the kind of gritty Cambridge, Massachusetts, it is still that same thing of connecting to nature and to the forces of nature that surround us, right?
exactly. And you're right. I mean, I do happen to live in a rural area, but it doesn't matter. You can be in a plane 30,000 feet up in the air and still be connecting to Mother Earth and still uh, referencing, getting messages from the earth and working with it. It's so interesting. I've been working a lot with frequency, the idea of
Mm,
frequency lately.
mm.
And Mother Earth resonates at exactly the same frequency as the human body does.
Ah,
So that's why
fascinating.
it feels so good, even in the middle of the city, if you go out into a park and can get your feet on the earth. But it doesn't even, you don't have to have that physical. Yes, it's great to literally get your feet on the earth, but also there's that that mindful intention of sitting in your chair and there's traffic going along outside, but you become centered and you just set that intent to connect, and you're going to feel that bounce of energy, and you're going to feel yourself come into frequency because you will rise to match the frequency of Mother Earth. When we collect all of the dust and the dirt of just day-to-day life, interacting with people. Somebody cuts you off in traffic, your boss yells at you, and we go as we collect this heaviness. And boy, you get into that resonance with Mother Earth, and it's like whoop, and rises.
That's gorgeous, Mary. That's really helpful. So that brings me to my next question. You are also a medium, like myself, and a psychic. So can you talk a little bit about the ways in which you combine the traditional mediumship, which, as you know, we don't necessarily have rituals per se, and we don't so much focus on the earth energies in the same way of a shamanic practitioner. How have you combined these two practices?
Well, that's so interesting, a very interesting question, because shamanic sessions. So, what I do in a shamanic session is when people do get weighted down with life, or if they find themselves in this just repeating patterns, you date different guys, but they're really the same guy over and over again in different places. Or you find yourself in the same jobs with the same challenges over and over again. Yes. Then I go into your energetic body and we find out, okay, where's that being held? And where does that need to be unraveled? So that's what I do in that realm. And so in a shamanic session, I really become what we call the hollow bone, where I step aside, Mary steps aside and just lets the information come through and the healing. And as you know, in mediumship, it's almost the opposite. We raise our energy up and go out. And so it is a little bit of a dance. And I do not always combine the two because they're so different. They are so different. But I have recently they just naturally come together. So if I'm in a shamanic session, in a deep healing for you, all of a sudden I may, feel your father coming in to express, particularly if we're talking about like a family issue, a family pattern that's repeat. They might show up to express, okay, I did this and I am so sorry. They might. And now, like I said, it's starting to become more and more that my mediumship and shamanic are combining, but it's a lot of times it's almost the reverse, where I'll be in a mediumship session and the shamanic healing comes in. Yeah. So they're just starting. It's a dance because the energies are so different. One is so passive and the other is so active. So it is
fascinating. That is wonderful, and that's a great explanation. So, Mary, believe it or not, we are approaching the end of our 10 minutes, but before we get off, I want people to know, now you are located in the St. Louis metro area, and obviously I'm in the Boston metro area. However, we do have this wonderful thing called the internet. Do you offer sessions on Skype or Zoom or by the phone for people who might be interested in pursuing this work with you?
I absolutely do. In fact, most of my sessions are via phone, Zoom, Skype, because I like to tell people that energy is not bound by the linear as we think linear, and they're not bound by that. Just like we don't have a power plant right behind every light switch, but yet they still work. That's the way that the energy work. Either the shamanic, intuitive, or mediumship, they all work beautifully with distance.
They sure do. And in fact, I might posit sometimes they work better with distance.
That is true.
As a psychic, I'm not distracted by looking at you or your body energy or whatever. But anyway, so Mary, we cannot put your website up per se, but I'm going to put your name under this later on. And can you just spell your name? If you Google Mary, then you will be able to find her. So can you say your name?
Sure. My website is under my full name, which is Mary Wolk-Agnew. That's W-O-L like Larry, K like kite, Agnew, A-G-N-E-W. Mary Wolk-Agnew.
Mary Wolk-Agnew.
Yep.
Listen, this has been phenomenal, very informative. We packed it in a very juicy 10 minutes. And
Yes.
so I really appreciate you stopping by the Psychic Playroom. And yeah, we'll do it again. Thank you so much.
Fantastic.
And
Thank
bye
you.
for now.
Okay, bye-bye, everyone.
Hi, did you like that? What'd you think? Wasn't she amazing? I think she's a really brilliant, and that combination of doing something that is both related to the earth energy and at the same time related to the energy of our ancestors and all that is going to be the way of the future. We obviously need the connection of both. So, Mary Wolk, W-O-L-K, Agnew, A-G-N-E-W. If you want to find out more about her, you can Google that and you should be able to find out everything you need. All right, now we're moving on to what is definitely my most favorite part of the show. Not that I don't love doing the interviews, but I also really enjoy reading for you guys. And I have two people who have asked me questions, so I'm about to bring out my tarot cards. As you know, I use the Akashic Records tarot deck, a beautiful deck. And yes, we're going to get started. The first question comes from AC, and AC is asking about career options. Is there a sense of which career options might be best for now? And so I'm going to bring the camera a little closer. I'm going to shuffle the cards, and I'm asking the cards, what does AC need to know about career options at this time? Remember that the answers are always very specific to this time. Your situation could change, your options could change, but for now, what is the thing that AC needs to know about career options right now? So I've shuffled the cards a little bit. I'm going to spread them around on the table. And now I'm going to pull one. Let's see what we have here. And this one is the Ark of the Covenant. Can you see that? It's a picture of the old-time biblical Ark of the Covenant. You have the Ark there, and you have two men sitting in front of it, in front of a fire. What the Ark of the Covenant refers to, at least in this moment for UAC, is about commitments. The Ark of the Covenant, a covenant is a contract. I don't know if you have recently committed yourself to something, but I feel that there's some kind of a contract coming up or some kind of commitment coming up, and you need to give careful thought to how deep you want to go into this thing. I get the feeling that people are asking you to go into something and you're not quite sure whether it's going to be the right thing for you. I would say I'm feeling actually to be a little bit alert and a little bit wary. Let me pull another card and see if there's something else here. Well, this one is on track. You can see it's a man getting ready to board a train. So I'm going to say, based on those two cards, you do have an option. You don't want to get too locked in because there may be other things that may be coming soon. I feel that you are on track to grow. I feel that recently you have put a lot of thought, effort, time, effort, and energy into your career, and that your persona has changed. You have evolved, you have grown, you are on track for more. So don't let yourself get locked in to a current commitment that may weigh you down or not allow you to fly to the full height that you can fly. I hope this is helpful. I hope it makes sense. As always, with these readings, feel free to write me at psychicplayroom@gmail.com and let me know how the reading turned out for you. But okay, AC, that's what I see. Commitment, contract, and you are on track. That's the most important. Okay, now the next question comes from C. And C has asked if I could look at the cards in terms of the most important thing for C to focus on. And I'm going to kind of rein that in a little bit to say focus on this summer. I'm going to narrow it down to the summer. I hope that's okay. But what is the most important thing that C needs to focus on this summer? And let's see what the cards have to say about that. I've shuffled them up pretty good. I'm going to spread them out. And let's see what we have here. I'm liking this one. Okay, this says the Four of Keys. And down below it says clearing the way. And the picture is there's a great big log in the middle of the path. And these people are trying to go down the path, but they can't until they clear this log away. So what that says to me, C, is you have a lot of, my feeling is just a psychic sense that you have a lot going on right now. You have a lot of distractions and things, and this is why obviously you've asked about focus. I would say to identify the one thing that you feel is the biggest obstacle. I feel like there's something that is in the way, something that distracts you and keeps you from doing what it is that you know you're supposed to do. I feel that you know what you're supposed to be doing, you know what you want to be doing, but you don't always do it because there's this block in the way. And you have been the kind of person that doesn't like to get into arguments, hassles, situations with people, so you've kind of let that thing lay there and block your way. But I feel like until the way is cleared, you're not going to be able to move forward in the way that you would like. Let me pull one more card and see what else we get here. All right, and this card for you is community. So I would say, and this is the Buddhist term Sangha, and if you see in the picture, there's a group of friends sitting, and there's also light streaming in through the window, and it looks very peaceful, very spiritual. I would say to you that for you to focus on your community will be good, whether that's community of friends, family. Those are the things that are going to be the most important for you in this time. And once again, work on clearing away that obstacle, because until that's gone, you're not going to be able to move forward as much as you would like. All right. I hope that that was helpful for both of you. And now, you know, we're just about out of time, but I just want to spend one moment wishing you the highest and very, very, very best month. I'll be back next month. And next month, my guest is going to be Larry David, who is a musician and psychic. I'm trying to bring a lot of different looks at this psychic thing so you understand that we are no longer solely in the era of Gypsy Rose and the crystal ball and the shawls and the, you know, I'll take a curse off you. We are in a bright new age of spiritual unfoldment. There are a lot of people looking to the light, and psychics are mediums, shamans, all of us have a way to help people move forward and help humanity develop. So on that positive note, I'm going to thank you once again for stopping by the Psychic Playroom today, and I look forward to seeing you again next month. This is Carolyn Wilkins signing off for now.
Thoughts are things with the energy to make life better for you and for me. Touch the light.